Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be creating another utility, basically a view that you can use inside your apps using ZStack. Okay. Now, before I actually go and create that, before we go and create that new control, I'm going to actually show you how to convert this view into a separate view, into its own view, and that is actually very simple. So let's go ahead and create a new view. I'm going to create one at the top, and we're going to basically call this pop-up view. Okay, and this is basically going to conform to the view protocol just like every other view. And what we're going to do is we are going to expect basically, or take this whole code and put that inside the other view. Okay, so I'm going to move this, or I'm going to rather copy it instead of cutting it. I'm going to copy it, and inside the body parameter, I'm gonna paste it right here. Now, one thing is missing is basically this show pop-up, and we can actually just move it right there. Okay, now instead of calling the example 4, I can simply call pop-up view, and it's gonna basically have the same effect. Essentially, nothing in your UI will appear different, or hopefully not. Let's go ahead and check it out. So as you can see, our new UI has rendered, and we can still see our pop-up basically working. Now, you can basically extend this further by extracting this part out and putting it in another view. Okay, so that's a challenge. Try it. It's very similar, but we'll cover view composition in future, so you know how to construct your views with smaller controls and components. Okay, all right, with that, let's go ahead and get started with another control that we're going to create. And this time we're going to create something called fast action button, or otherwise known as FAB. So let's go ahead and create it as an example number 5. Okay, so I'm going to continue to use this example, basically example way of creating views, but you can choose to create your own separate views if you like. That's why I wanted to show you this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a private var example 5. Okay, and basically in this one we are going to need a list. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a list first. All right, and inside on the top of the list we're going to basically show a fast action button, which you can use to provide custom actions. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically first choose a list of DevTechie courses. So I'm going to bring them from the example code and basically put them in here. By the way, these are real courses. You guys should definitely check out devtechie.com to find out more about them. Let's go ahead and build our example section. Okay, example 5 section. And what we're going to do is we are going to first put together a navigation stack. All right, and inside the navigation stack we are going to add a ZStack. All right, and this time in the ZStack we are going to define an alignment. An alignment is going to be bottom trailing, where we want to show our button. Okay, now this is not going to have any effect on the list itself, because list content is going to be laid out with its own layout parameters, which are by default taking the entire screen and displaying them in the order as they appear. But for the button, which is the smaller view, is gonna appear right here in this corner, and you're gonna see how easy it is to create a FAB inside SwiftUI. Okay, So we're gonna basically have our list, and we're gonna use dt courses, which is the list of these devtechie.com courses, and we're gonna have ID them by self, so each row can uniquely identify itself. We're gonna get access to a single row inside this trailing closure, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna simply display that course as a text with a font title 3. Okay, so what this should do is this should actually render a UI with all the courses. Now we want to actually add a navigation title. It's always good to have navigation title, and devtechie courses is gonna be basically the navigation title for our view. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a button. Now this is basically the main part. This is the fast action button that we want to show. Okay, so we're gonna put it right underneath our list, and we're gonna create a button, and this button is not gonna do much. It's simply gonna print that button is pressed. But you can do whatever you want to do, because this is an action area, like, you know, and you can put your own code in here. But we're gonna have this button. It's also gonna have a label, and the label that we're gonna use is gonna be an image, which is a system image, and it's gonna be plus.circle.fill. Okay, that is going to be the image, and you can see the image is like, you know, slightly, like, you know, basically appearing very small in this corner. Let's go ahead and make this image resizable, which is going to make it super big. Okay, and we're going to basically set the frame for this image with width as 50 and height as 50. Okay, so basically this is going to create a 50 by 50 image. You can increase it if you like. Let's go ahead and try 70, which is going to be a little bit slightly bigger. Okay, that's looking good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some padding. Now we want to add padding in the trailing direction, so we're going to create an array, because we need padding in 2 different directions. So we need in trailing, and we also need it in the bottom. So we're going to simply say dot bottom, and let's go ahead and set 10 points of trailing and bottom padding for both. So it's going to basically have these 10 points, like, you know, above the safe area, and 10 points from the trailing edge. Okay. All right, with that, we have actually created our entire view. Believe it or not, this is all the code that you need to create a button, and this is all the code you need to create a fast action button. Okay, so if we look at this, as you can see, our list is perfectly capable of scrolling, and it's just working fine, and it's rendering fine, and we have this fast action button, which upon click basically will print some message if it was running in the simulator. Okay, so this is how you can create a fast action button. Now if you don't like the position of this button on this direction, say, like, you know, you want to have it on bottom leading just for fun, you can change simply bottom leading. But the reason it's always, like, you know, the buttons, the fast action buttons are always on the bottom trailing side, because it's an easy point for your thumb to reach while holding your phone. Okay, so that's why most of the apps actually put it there. Now I don't like 10 points. I think I like 20 points a little bit more, but more or less more on the trailing side. So let me go ahead and fix this a bit. I'm gonna create 2 paddings, one trailing and one bottom, and bottom is going to be 10, but the trailing is going to be 20, which is looking a little bit better. Okay, so with that, we have reached the end of this video, and thank you so much once again for watching. I'll see you guys in another video.